This is the ABQ Business Podcast with your host, Jason Rigby. Each week we'll interview visionary business leaders to inspire the creative power and spirit that's in every entrepreneur. Discussing strengths, weaknesses, strategies, systems, and the problems we can all solve together for a new future for local small business.
What's up, guys? Love what I'm going to be talking about today. I want you to know this is from Katie and Gay Hendricks, Hendricks. They are an amazing relationships couple. I am single. I am not in a relationship, but I love learning about this because this especially is about you. And how many times do we run around trying to make sure that everyone else is happy and we just neglect taking care of ourselves? I heard a great, and I don't remember who it was from, but they said if you bought $1 million racehorse and you'd spend all your money and your life savings on that $1 million racehorse, and they had promised you this is the breed, this will be the horse, you'll make your money back. You just have to take care of it. You have to do everything that you need to do to get it in tip-top shape. But would you feed it cheeseburgers? Would you just give it fries from McDonald's? Well, we're worth way more than that, guys. And how we treat ourselves is the way that we're going to treat others. How we treat ourselves is the most powerful thing that we can do to help others. We have to care for ourselves. We have to love ourselves. And we need to learn to be able to do that. And so that's what I want to talk about today. A lot of you, I talk to entrepreneurs. Many of them are seldom satisfied. They're easily bored. They're constantly critical to themselves. And I want to get into, Gay Hendricks talks about this, into this deeper reasoning of the disconnect that we have. And I know a lot of you play these words out, and he said, this is a way that you can see that you don't love yourself if you're using words if only. And he says, those are the two most dangerous words. If only this was better. If only I could do this. If only this person acted this certain way. If only there wasn't this in my way. You see these if only words. This is the real cause of our unhappiness. And this if only is what distracts us. And it causes us to turn away from the one thing that can change how we feel about our lives. And we're going to talk about that one thing because the if only, I heard somebody the other day, they're like, man, if only I had just a little bit more money, I could do this. If only if only my spouse really loved me and paid attention to me, then I would have an amazing relationship. If only it wasn't COVID-19, then I would eat good and I could go to the gym. You didn't go to the gym before COVID-19. You were eating bad before COVID-19. And you have to catch yourself that you, if only to make yourself happy, but it's not the problem. What you think is a problem, the if only, and then you name it, that's not the problem. That's just a symptom of the real problem. And the problem is that you don't love yourself. Or you don't love yourself like you should. Maybe you say, Jason, I think I really do love myself. I feel peaceful. I feel good about myself. 1 to 10, I'm usually at an 8 or, a 9. Maybe sometimes a 10, but I would say most everybody says they're at a 5, 6, or 7. When I ask people 1 to 10, where are you at as far as being happy in your life? Most people say a 6 or a 7. So what is this disconnect? Why are we so unhappy in our lives when we have everything that is more abundant than we ever could have? And I'm loving this right now. I mean, I hate that we're seeing this decimate our economy. I hate that we're seeing people passing away from this. But those of us that have quarantined, those of us that have learned to understand that we have to work inside of our heads to figure out who we are so that we know where we need to go. One thing I learned, I love being an introvert. I can socially do extremely well. I mean, I've been in sales all my life, marketing. So I can go into any situation, any room, and do well. I can communicate very well. I'm good in that arena. But I learned that I do enjoy staying at home. I do like, I do like when I have that ability to be able to take a whole day and relax, not goofing off and Netflix, whatever. I'm talking just to be able to relax and work on the podcast, relax and work on, work on the computer, read, go work out, go hiking. I've really learned to love myself in the sense of being alone. And it was interesting the day I was like, why am I so happy? I'm probably more alone than I've ever been. And how can I be this happy? And so I asked myself, I was like, is this normal? Should I like call some people so I'm not feeling so weird about this? And I was like, no, you're perfectly fine. This is right where you need to be. And so I personally, I just wanted to share with that just something personal that I learned about myself is that I enjoy being an introvert. I really do. And I'm not going to apologize for it. And I've gotten good at saying no on things from this. And I'm carrying this forward. I don't have to do everything. I don't have to go on every date. I don't have to go to every party. I don't have to attend every meeting. I don't need to run around to try to please everybody else and then me be distracted and tired and exhausted by the time I get done with those things when I could do those things when I really want to. And then when I don't want to, just say no. It's really that simple, guys. So let's get into some signs that Gay Hendricks talks about, 2 signs that you don't really love yourself. He says the real problem is, and why so many of us feel chronically unhappy with our life is related to how we feel about ourselves. In order to feel at peace and fully content with our lives, we must first and foremost learn to love ourselves. And for most of us, it's hard to know whether or not we truly love and accept ourselves or if we just think we do. So he says, I'm going to give you some signs that's going to show you that you don't love yourself. And he does this when he's working in therapy or group sessions. And so here's the signs. And he says they're, and I love this word, insidious, because they lie underneath the surface. And a lot of people will keep this discontent for a lifetime or maybe even decades, and they won't even realize it. Sign number 1, you run yourself ragged trying to be everything to everyone. This is the first sign that you don't love yourself, is you run yourself ragged trying to be everything to everyone. Your boss is telling you to do this. Your spouse or partner is telling you to do this. Your kids are needing this. Your friends want you to be here, here, and here. You're quick to volunteer to help out this person or this person. Even though you barely have time to do those things, you just pile on more and more and more on your schedule, and people just take more advantage of you. And you're doing these things. I watched somebody one day. I stopped and asked them. They were doing something. They were helping somebody else out, and I don't want to give too much away because this is a friend of mine. And I asked her, I was like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Nothing." And I was like, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "Crying." And I was like, "Why?" And she said this. She goes, I just help everyone all the time, and then they just aren't considerate of me. And I'm like, yeah, they're taking advantage of you because you're offering yourself all the time. But I said, you're actually getting yourself worse from doing that. And you don't want to take the time to get to know yourself and be who you need to be with you. So in turn, you distract yourself and then play victim and then just let other people walk on you. And then you just live that narrative over and over and over and over again. I've seen that with dads and moms putting pressure on their kids and then kids caving in. And then they act that way for 50 years until their parents pass away, never having a conversation. I see that with passive aggressive, that mentality of I'll just deal with it. When you say yes, even when you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, and you don't have the desire, it's because you don't want to disappoint those that are around you. You feel like they need to count on you. And so then you play this mean critic to yourself because you know what you do? So you've said yes, 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 yes. You're running around ragged. You're doing all this stuff. You've got booked out schedules from here. And then you say, well, the problem is me. I need to serve people and help people and love people. And if I just did a little bit more, if I just got more organized, if I would do this or this, or, and then now you're just self-criticizing yourself, and then you're not loving yourself. It is okay to set boundaries. It is okay to take a day for yourself. It is okay when the spa's open to say, fuck it, I'm going to the spa for the whole freaking day. Or I'm going to lock myself in my house, no one disturb me, I'm putting my phone away, and I'm going to watch movies all day long. Whatever it is, treat yourself. I've been working out. I've been doing really well. I've been doing this. I am getting this food, and I'm going to watch this movie, and I'm shutting my phone off, and no one will disturb me. Do that, guys. You have to do that more and more for yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Because the problem in this is that you don't love yourself, so you're always trying to prove something to someone. You're trying to prove that you're a good wife or a good husband. You're trying to prove to your kids that you're a good parent. You're trying to prove to your boss that you're a good employee. And you can never be good enough for yourself because you haven't learned to love yourself. And all you're going to do is run yourself into the dirt and never feel accomplished for anything that you've done. That's sign number one. Sign number two, you never feel like you're enough. No matter what you do, no matter how much you help others, no matter how much people mean to you, no matter how much they tell you that they love you, no matter how much they tell you that they respect you, you feel like it's never enough. You're not as good of a friend as you should be. And then you're just not satisfied for long because you're in the back of your head when somebody gives you a compliment, you can't accept it because you feel that it's false. And it's funny to me how, I'll give you an example. I mentioned it before, but I'm single. And it's funny to me you can see this play out with people I hardly even know. I may be texting or, we're on a dating app or whatever. And then you talk to them for a little bit, maybe get on the phone. And then, I'm busy and I may not talk for 2, 3, 4 days. And then they're like worried. You can call me. Well, why didn't you call me? I really would like to. And then there's the guilt trip that comes. Well, you just made it all about you. And you've showed that you've got an issue there. Or the other way, I've told people, I really had an amazing time. Thank you. It was an amazing date. I just really enjoyed it. We had great conversation. And then they're like, no, that wasn't me. No. And then they don't believe me. They're like, and I look at them and I'm like, they'll never have a great relationship. If they can't believe in themselves and love themselves, then how can they love someone else? And they just never will have a good relationship because they can't do it. Or maybe, I'm single, but maybe you're in a relationship and you get super jealous when your partner talks to somebody else, or they're paying attention to something else in the garage or a hobby, or you see them light up over something that they're doing or someone that they're talking to. And then this fear sets in, this fear of worry of them breaking up with you or abandoning you. Or what I like to see is when two people start criticizing each other. And then the other one feels like they're just constantly picking on them. Maybe you're at work because since you never feel like you're good enough, you have this narrative running in your head that you're just exhausted and working so much and no one appreciates you. No one respects all the stuff I do. I'm the only one that could do this. If it wasn't for me, this place would just go under. I had that. I got to share the story with you. So many of you know I worked at a dealership when I first started. I tried to commit suicide, was homeless, got a job at a dealership. I shared this in the last podcast. I encourage you to hear that. You can hear part of the story. Someday I'll go into the whole story in detail. And I think I've done it on a couple other podcasts when people's interviewed me. But I did this. I was like, I'm unappreciated. I can't believe this. I've done so much for this dealership. I've done this, this, and this. I'm in charge of their internet department. I've built this department. I've done this. And then I'm like, and then another dealership offered me a little bit more money and some more things and I was like, yeah, I'm going. Screw them. So I told them, I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I didn't tell them they didn't appreciate me, of course. And then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this dealership is going to fold. This dealership is their internet department, they're not going to be able to handle it. I just quit. I'm done. Just some ego so big. Then month after that, they broke a record. You're not, and in my podcast, like a couple days ago, nobody cares. Work harder. It's so true. You're just running this narrative in your head about not feeling appreciated, not being respected, and then you're doing out of the wrong. So all this extra stuff that you're doing to serve somebody is actually just selfishly serving you. It's not for the other person, even though you're doing the work for the other person. And you're saying, I helped you, honey, because I did this and this. And, I work really hard and I work 8 hours a day, and then I come home and I do this for the kids. And then this happens. Or I've heard this, I work 8 hours a day. I don't have time to cook dinner. Why don't you do that? I need to go relax and play video games. It's all the same. It's all the same, guys. It shows up as you never being happy. It shows up, this is a big one, as you never being happy with how you look, how you feel. And since you're never happy with any of that, you never can get started in building healthy habits to get to the way that you want in your health. Because if you can't love yourself, then how can you treat yourself to something that's good? That's why there's so many people, this is really interesting. They had a huge study on this, and I had read a book on it. The average time that someone, what do you think the average is of somebody quits at? So they start something and then they quit. Do you think it's like the 5th day, the 8th day, the 30th day, the 20th day? Say, for 2 months, I'm going to do this, or 6 months, I'm going to be this way, or for 2 weeks, I'm going to be this way. You know what? The majority of people quit on the 2nd day. Why? Because they feel like they don't deserve it. And you know what's so funny is this victim mentality of not loving yourself. Then you blame all those problems and all those things, that horrible boss you have, the wrong husband that you have, the out of control, crazy kids that just drive you nuts. You blame it all on that. And these are the things that you put out there, but they're just symptoms. All those things around you are symptoms that you have created with your energy. And those symptoms is the greater problem, that you don't love yourself. And I've seen it over and over again where people have ruined their careers. They've gone through divorces. They've had major health issues, all because it's a very personal problem of not loving yourself. Did you know, and I love this, Gay Hendricks talks about this because I want to give him credit for all of this. Like I said, Gay Hendricks. He says you can solve a lot of the problems you're experiencing in life if you just learn to love yourself. And he goes, you don't have to feel exhausted all the time. You don't have to feel inadequate in any area of life. You don't have to wonder if you'll ever get the love that you deserve. He says you just have to learn to tap into who you really are and then have full acceptance of you. And it's so liberating when you become self-aware of who you are. It's like like I was telling you, I learned during this time, I get energized by being alone. Yes, I do like to go out. Yes, I like to go out to eat with people. Yes, I don't have a lot of friends. I have deep friends. I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. And so guess what? I'm going to be that way. I accept myself fully in that. I need to spend time alone so I get energized, and then I can go out and do what I need to do to accomplish those things. But there's a process of learning to love yourself. And there's breakthroughs if you're willing to do the work, guys. This people pleasing, this giving up yourself and serving others at the need or the expense of who you are, this negative conditioning that maybe your parents taught you, this blaming others for everything that's happened bad in your life, the helplessness, the reason that you're attracted to people that are bad for you, those are all things that cause you to reinforce this idea of you not loving yourself. So how do we fix it? Well, I think the number one thing that we have to understand, and it's super simple, guys. Let me give you some tips because I want to keep this kind of short on a path that's less taken. Learn to be discerning. Learn to say no. Learn to say no to yourself. You have to become self-aware. You have to stop yourself. Get to the point to where you can stop yourself saying, I'm bullshitting myself right here. I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm playing victim. And no, I'm not going to be that way. And no, I'm not going to do this. I don't feel like doing the dishes. So and why am I doing the dishes? Am I doing the dishes because they're bugging me and I want to have a clean kitchen? Am I doing the dishes because I feel like guilt? No, I'm going to watch TV. I'm going to watch the show. And then after the show, I'm going to get up and do the dishes because I feel like doing the dishes. Then I want you to learn to be discerning and say no whenever you get that gut feeling inside of yourself that tells you probably shouldn't do that. You can always tell somebody, let me check my schedule and then I'll get back to you. Give me a day on this. Let me think about it and then I'll get back to you. And then you say, what's your email? You get their email address, or if you know it, or to get their cell and text them. And then you write them back and say no. My favorite is if you can't say, and this is from another book, Derek Silver or somebody like that. If you can't say fuck yes, then just say no. If you can't say fuck yes, I want to do that. That sounds awesome. Then say no. So learning how to love yourself is discerning about yourself and having that self-perception, watching those toxic thoughts that come in your head, and then saying no to others. Number 2 is be your own best friend. You have to change the relationship inside yourself. You have to start showing yourself consideration and compassion. What is that one thing that bugs the hell out of you? I talked to somebody the other day and they said, my stomach. That's what they told me, my stomach. Well, what do you need to do where you can take full 100% responsibility for your stomach? Do you need to hire a dietitian? Do you need to hire a trainer, a coach? Whatever you need to do, spend the money on yourself. Spend the money on yourself. Whatever. Do you love getting massages once a week? Spend the money on yourself. Do things that you find that are fun and exciting, things that help you out. And then ask yourself, if I had the absolutely perfect best friend, how would I treat them? What would I do? What would I say to them? And then that's what you need to say to yourself. And then change the way you perceive your flaws. Jeff Foster says it this way: don't judge your sadness, your depression, your feelings of awareness so quickly. And don't judge the sorrows of another, for you really don't know what's best for anyone. For you really don't know more than life itself. That which you reject in another or in yourself may actually be much needed medicine, a misunderstood teacher, inviting you to a self-love deeper than you ever thought possible. So we don't know what somebody else is going through. That may be medicine for them. And for us, we need to understand that the anger, the fear, the jealousy, the sadness, the depression, whatever it may be that we're struggling with, that it's a universal human emotion, and every freaking human, whether they're in Cambodia or whether they're in Siberia or whether they're in Missouri, they all feel these same emotions. So stop judging people and stop judging yourself. We're imperfect human. We'll never be perfect. It's your ego that sits there and plays tricks. You're not perfect. 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 Maybe it was your parents or your grandparents that said, you need to be better. You need to be better. You're not perfect. The only way you're going to cure that is to have gratitude for yourself and to practice gratitude. What are 3 things? First thing you wake up in the morning, what are 3 things that you can be appreciative about? The minute you put your feet and you feel that carpet or flooring or towel or whatever you say, what are 3 things that I can be thankful for about? And have this attitude of gratitude, and you'll begin to grow. And then instead of judging and rejecting yourself, I want you to practice loving everything that comes into your life, even the bad things. You're in traffic, say, I can't control this. Why am I getting mad at myself? There's this, and they even have a book about it called Radical Self-Acceptance. Just accept it. I'm not talking an acceptance where you don't do anything. I'm talking an acceptance to say, I accept where I'm at right now. I take 100% responsibility for it. And here's what I need to do to love myself more. And I'm not going to feel ashamed about it. I'm not going to feel alone. I'm not going to feel worthless or lost, because this is the direction I'm going. This is who I am. And this is the best version of me. And this is how I can be when I truly awaken to who I am in the way that I love myself. That's why self-care is so important, guys. Spiritually, mentally, and physically, how do you take care of yourself? If you love going to church, go every time the doors are open. If you love, like I said, getting a massage every week, get a massage. If you like getting your nails done, I don't care what it is. If you love going on hikes by yourself, do it. If you love going and having a beer at a brewery and chilling and talking with friends, schedule that out every week. You have to understand that you're number one. And if you're at a 10 in your life and a 10 in loving yourself, you're going to be at a 10 in loving others. If you're at a 4 or a 5 in loving you, how can you love anyone else? Next, have some self-respect. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for yourself. If someone's being an idiot and they're going against you, don't just be quiet about it. Or don't just make some passive-aggressive comment, or don't believe what they're saying about you. They have no idea who you are. I always say that. A person could be looking at you smiling, most beautiful person in the world, and they can be absolutely evil inside, and you have no idea. You look at them and say, oh, they're beautiful. Oh, they're nice. Oh, they're hot. Oh, he's so charming. And he could be a serial killer. You have no idea. You honor your needs and wants first. You respect those needs and don't judge them. The values that you have built inside of you and who you are, those are yours and yours only. And it may cause you to lose relationships, but that's fine. Because the energy that you need to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish to be the best version of yourself, this person may not need to be in your life. How to love yourself is something that you have to work out. It's something that you have to say, I'm going to do this daily. And it's not going to happen overnight, guys. If you get 1% better every day, you get 1% better at that. What percentage do you have at the end of the year? 365% better. What would that look like? It actually even more than that, because it begins to compound interest. So it begins to go more and more and more. So it's thousands of percent. If you slept good, what if you got a sleep tracker or you changed your room around and you put blackout curtains in and you got a better mattress? Spend some time for yourself. And you said, I'm going to make sure I get 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, whatever you need. And I'm going to make sure I sleep good. I'm going to read about sleep. I'm going to get a book about sleep. I'm going to have lavender. I'm going to do everything that I need to do to make sure I sleep well. And I'm doing that because that's what I think is important to me. Perfect. Get those 9 hours of sleep and be productive the other hours. Eating healthy. Exercising daily. Get a yoga mat while you're watching Netflix. I have a yoga mat right here, right now, a kettlebell and a roller, foam roller. That's what I do when I watch TV. Appreciate yourself. Thank yourself. Meditate. You can get those meditation apps and you can meditate for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. These are things I'm telling you that are going to make you better than who you think you are. You know, one of the things that's helped me, sharing my flaws. Humility has it like my ego hates to do that. Like I'll take somebody that I may be a leader in a certain position, and then I'm sitting down, I'm coaching them, I'm talking with them, and then I'll just hear something horrific that is wrong with me. That may coincide with what we're talking about. Who cares? Who cares? We're all diamonds in the rough anyways. It's our gift to humanity to share how we've worked through something. And I want you to know that these negative thoughts, which they say most humans have about 70% negative thoughts, that self-criticism that goes all the time, they're just thoughts. That's all they are. There's nothing more than that. Think about it. This will lose the power of them. When you get a negative thought or you get some bullshit, you have that thought and then that thought creates an emotion. That emotion is what causes you to act. Think about this. It's just a thought. Nothing more. Nothing more. It's just a thought. You can work yourself up to thinking that your girlfriend is out there with some other dude, and you can think about it and think about it. Oh, they haven't texted me back for 4 hours. You know, who are they with? And the next thing you know, you're blowing up their phone. You're calling them 100 times. I've seen this. I have a friend of mine. He's like extremely jealous. He's always got this conspiracy theory going on, and he has the sweetest, most amazing girlfriend. Never heard anything wrong from her friends, from people that I know, that she knows, everything. They always say she's amazing. They're just thoughts. There's nothing more than that. He's making up stories in his head. Then he's getting emotional, and then he's acting like a fucking idiot. Why do we think these negative thoughts? Because fear and worry helped us. Out in the savannah, that's what we needed to dodge all the animals, to hunt, to survive. These are survival mechanisms that we had. We needed them. Don't believe everything you think. Question those thoughts. Then how do you love yourself? What do you really want to do with your life? Let's get some deep here real quick. I'm almost done, guys. What do you really want to do with your life? Pivot. Oh, yeah, I'm stuck in this job because I make 10 grand a month, or I make 5 grand a month, and I really need the money, but I really want to do this, and I would only make 2. Well, rearrange your life where you can make 2 and be happy, because you can't take the freaking money with you. Be happy first. Find meaning in your life first. I guarantee you, if you're passionate in what you do and you're loving it and you move in that direction of 2 grand, that 2 grand will turn back into 5 or 10. Because I have never seen somebody that's been passionate about what they do, love what they do, and not make money with that passion. Abundance follows passion every single time. Get the hell out of doing average. You weren't born to be average. Get the hell out of that nasty job that you're in and do something that's amazing. If you can't, do a side hustle at night and be passionate and work those 6 hours every night. Tell yourself, I'm going to work 7 times 6. That's 42 hours a week. I can get an extra job done, and I'm going to work 6 hours on this passion, and I'm going to do this for 3 months, and I'm quitting. And put a 90-day calendar and mark off every single day that you work and the day less that you have to work at your other job. Ask yourself, if you didn't have a job, how would you fill your day? That's your passion. What makes you just work hours and hours on end? You forget about the world and you forget everything. You just get so excited and you do that. That's your passion. And I don't want, I could go into this for hours and I don't want to do that. I want to keep this short. But I'm telling you, when you want to start learning to love yourself, you're going to have to recondition yourself. It's time to get out of the comfort zone, but be patient. 1% change, guys, step by step, small step after small step after small step. And then before you know it, you're becoming more self-aware, more self-aware, more self-aware. And then next thing you know, you've moved thousands of % in the right direction. I know it's going to make you nervous. I know you don't want to change. I know people are going to try to pull you down back into who you are, but you have to say, I'm making 1% progress every day. I recognize this thought. Good job. Jason, you had this stupid negative thought and then you got emotional about it because you had a bad conversation with somebody, which I had today. And you know what I did? I apologized. I texted them and said that I was sorry. And I don't even think they said, you know what they said? They said, yeah, you seem like a little angry with it. And I was like, I wasn't angry. I was just really trying to think and really focus. And it kind of caught me off guard. But I'm sorry that I got that way with you. Humility, guys. People are going to try to pull you down. But it's for you to make progress. Buy that shirt. I talked about it. Listen to my podcast, the last one. Nobody cares. Work harder. Understand that statement. Surround yourself with those that are 10s. If you can't find those, get podcasts that are out there. Listen to just those people. Take some time to be alone and listen to 10s. People that, whatever your passion is, I guarantee you there's 3, 4, 5, 30 podcasts around that passion. Listen to those people that are doing it, that are loving it and doing it full time. Email them. Ask them questions. Tell them where you're at in their life. And stop judging yourself, guys. You're going to have self-doubt. You're going to have where you're not believing in yourself. You're going to have breakdowns and just say, hey, I broke down last night. I was an idiot. I was being negative. How can I turn that around and be positive? And how can I learn from that and move forward? And forgive yourself, guys. Forgive yourself. These are ways that you can start loving yourself.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to abqpodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.